let me turn it over to Jack so you can start us up. How you doing today, Jack?
I'm doing great, Matthew. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving life. Glad to see you and glad for you to be here and drop this knowledge of my business on us.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege and it's an honor. And I know that we're going through some hard times in the economy. And I'm hoping that I know that this presentation is going to add a lot of value to those who are listening, especially here in the South Florida context. Um, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Of course,
And I'll
you
get right
got
into it. Yeah, let me go ahead and make this a little bit larger here. Let me see. All right. Is everyone able to see my screen?
yes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you so much again, Matthew, for having me and for the whole chamber. It's an honor to be part of this chamber. I want to speak today about something that is, I know, relevant for every single business owner. And that's basically, how do we fish? How do we catch fish? How do we generate leads? And this comes from 20 something years of experience and working with different types of businesses and Fortune 500, Fortune 5,000 companies, you know, startups. So I've had the opportunity to see from my experience and my vantage point as a marketer, what different types of businesses are going through, the challenges they're going through. Let me go ahead and put this timer on here. And to really see how businesses, like people, are very complex, and they have their own cultures, they have their own strengths and their own weaknesses. And for those who are interested in seeing some of our case studies, you can actually go to our website, gp.marketing/case-studies, and see some of the projects and clients and people that we've worked with, which really informs my understanding of the challenges and the blessings that businesses provide to the community through product and services, but the challenges they face internally, and also when it comes to marketing and lead generation. So I'm hoping just in these few minutes that, again, what I'm about to share can really cut right to the chase and provide a way of thinking about lead generation that maybe some of our audience has not thought about. Okay. Well, let me first of all start by just considering the national and context of where we are economically, and also South Florida. And marketing is never extracted from the context, right? Because marketing is going to the marketplace and trying to persuade people that you are the best option. Okay. And I'll talk a little bit about the fact that marketing is never a force, because there's some first principles that go along with it. And that's really important if you're going to be a lead generator, or if you think about it from an agricultural perspective, a fisherman, right? And the whole idea behind it is that fish are always hungry. So that makes it a lot easier when you understand the consumer's appetite for new things, new support, new help, new tools, new services, new products, different types of products. They may download a song today and their ear has an appetite for a different type of song tomorrow. So that's really important. But there are national and local realities that affect lead generation and marketing. One of them right now is our national economic climate. It's right now, with interest rates going up high on especially on housing and some of the inflation and things that are happening. That is really, I think, causing businesses, especially if you're in a B2B marketing space, to be more conservative with the way that they're spending money, because they're saving up for the rainy day. So we need to take that into consideration, but it does not mean that they're not spending. People will always buy and sell long as there's humanity on earth. So once you understand that things can slow down, but people will always consume products and services, that means that for you who are in the market to sell your products and services, you got customers out there. They just may not be as eager right now, and things change, right? Seasons change. And I think the uniqueness about the South Florida climate, which most of us know about because we all live here, whether you're in Dade or Broward or West Palm, is that we are a transitional metro. Very few people actually have lived here second to third generation. I mean, you got very few communities that have been here for the last 100 years. Most people are very transient. They're either from New York. I'm from LA, from California. People are from, Chicago. They're from Latin America, South America, Central America, the Caribbean world, Russia, Israel. So again, we are an international metro. So that means that the people, we're like the New West. So people are very transient. They haven't been here for a long time, and that affects lead generation. Why? Because of this one fundamental reason. Very few people have referral sources from a personal relationship perspective. Like if you're from Pittsburgh or you're from Atlanta, even LA, right, where I grew up, you always had an uncle or a cousin or an aunt that knew someone that could get you the product or service that you were looking for. You had that relational referral. Not to say that relational references and associations don't generate leads. They do, but we're so transient, especially since COVID, with all the people that have moved here, that the number one way that people are finding the products and services they need, whether it's a new plumber, it's a trash collector, whether it's a dentist, whether it's a website company, whether it's someone that sells clothing or fashion, a boutique shop, whatever you're doing, dental work, medical work, ultimately you're solving people's problem, whether it's entertainment, whether it's pain in their jaws or mouth, or they're trying to lose weight. We're all in the problem solving business. But the unique aspect of South Florida, the cultural context of it, is that people tend to turn to digital first because they again don't have those deep rooted personal references. And even if you did, maybe you've been here second, third generation African American, maybe you're second generation Haitian, or you're third generation Cuban. Again, these are all new communities from the standpoint of America and what we have experienced in the West Coast, in the Northeast, and even the South. This is truly a new experiment down here in the Metro Miami area, meaning Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami. And those people who've been here a couple of generations, they're even new. So even if you do have personal references, you're very limited by the width and depth of those references. So that creates a very unique, amazing opportunity, unlike any other metro in America. That is, if you are in the digital space, making noise, educating, letting your presence be felt, associating and connecting with other people, you are going to generate quality leads for your business. Your phone is going to be ringing, but you have to be found. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. The second point I want to make is consumer nature and lead stages. It's really important for us who are in lead generation. All of us are. Those who don't realize they are probably struggling more than they need to. Advertising budget, marketing budget should be fixed. In fact, most experts say should be about 20 to 30% of your company's spending. Because if, again, you're going to have a churn rate. That means you're going to lose customers, you're going to lose members, you're going to lose donors, whatever organization. So you always got to be bringing in new people, more so than your loss rate, which is your churn rate. So we need to understand that consumer nature is that people are consumers by nature, meaning we don't need to manipulate people through lead generation strategies or marketing to get them to bite on our product, okay? People are hungry. Consumers are hungry. So once we understand that consumers by nature are hungry like fish. It really is an issue of when they're pursuing to satisfy that hunger, are you the best meal? Are you the best option? Okay, so once we understand that marketing and lead generation is more of differentiating ourselves as the more quality, as the more trusted, as the more stable, as the more passionate, as the more reliable company, it really does become an issue of going into the marketplace and attracting new leads that are already hungry, but they see you as the best option out of an option of 5 or 50 different people, depending on how saturated your market is. So one thing we don't need to do in lead generation strategies and marketing is lie to people and become something we're not. Because people are hungry and they're looking for authentic companies, and they're in different stages. And the second point I want to make there in the lead stage, in lead generation, we need to understand that people are in different lead stages, meaning you got cold leads. These are people that are not interested in your product at all. They're cold, they're frozen, and you're trying to warm them up. And that's why if you're a business, you have to be engaging in ways to turn cold people warm towards whatever it is you do. If you're a church and you're trying to evangelize, if you're a medical center and people are not interested in your medical center because you're the new kid on the block, you have to start turning them warm. And the best way to do that, again, is through podcasting, education, getting out there, knocking on doors, talking to people. So they're hearing your name as the evangelist of the company, and they're hearing your company in different contexts, and even in contexts that they themselves love. Meaning if they're a skateboarder, if they're a rapper, they're into hip hop, and now you're a sponsor of that skateboarding event. You're sponsoring that artist. You're sponsoring that thing that they consider to be important to them. The Compa Festival, the Caribbean Festival, the Latin, Cuban, Argentinian Festival. So that's where sponsorship and lead generation becomes important, because you're turning cold people warm towards you. And of course, you have people that are warm who kind of want what you have. They want to get a massage, they want to get dental surgery, but they're kind of in the middle. These people don't have search intent. They're not on Google typing in, plastic surgeon. They're not typing in therapist. They're warm. They know they have a need, but it's not a crisis point for them yet, where they're actually going to go to Google or Bing or Yahoo and search. So you need to understand that when it comes to search engine advertising, you're always going to do better with hot leads. And you need to be search engine advertising. Your business will die if you're not search engine advertising, because search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuck, and different, there's these alternative search engines that are important for certain markets. That though, when people search for business on Google business listing or Waze or whatever map app they're using, they have search intent. They're hot leads, and they're looking for a company at that moment that could solve their problems. So consumer nature is that they're hungry. People are hungry for products and services every day, from health to cosmetics to insurance to consulting, everything that you can imagine. That's why, I get I'm fortunate to work holistically with different types of companies and see how their companies are growing, because they're meeting market demand. People have pain and they need help. And so it's important for us to understand this. Thirdly, if we're going to be effective lead generators, we need to know our story, okay? And our story needs to be part of what we're doing. And that's why I wrote your story is critical. And this really ties into the personal approach versus the corporate. Many small businesses, even mid-sized businesses, we work so hard to try to seem corporate, to try to seem mega. And the reality is that most consumers, if they could choose between a large hospital or a small hospital, where it's the same doctors, the same nurses, they know them by name, They know holistically their entire chart, as far as their background and genetic disposition. They're always going to choose the personal over the corporate. So there's an advantage. As you guys know, America is, I believe, 95 to 99% small businesses. There's a reason America is built of scrappy entrepreneurs. And understand, Americans love small businesses. They love scrappy entrepreneurs that know their name, that have a personal touch. If they needed to, they can get to the owner because they have a complaint. So when it comes to lead generation, you need to use your story, the personalness of your story, right? On your website, in your YouTubes, to basically be honest to people as to why you started that company. It is so magnetic in helping you, remember, reach people who already have a hunger. So you're not trying to create the hunger. There's no manipulation. You're just differentiating yourself as the person that is more personal and that is motivated because of your story. Like, I got into marketing and lead generation. I went from being a full-time pastor, working with people, and realizing that the people that I was serving were struggling economically. And I was kind of fascinated by web designs in 2007 when I was at Fuller Seminary in Pasadena. And so I took my web fascination and my love for people and community, and I realized I could have a bigger impact if I help people think about how to grow their business that they engage in 40 to 60 hours a week versus seeing them for 2 hours on Sunday. And that's my story. And it comes out of pain, comes out of my own struggle, being incarcerated. I'm a felon with 2 felonies. And apart from pastoring and working for nonprofits, no one would hire me. So I had to start my own businesses to make money apart from ministry, which was not paying me a lot of money, which then I realized that I could really help people think about their entrepreneurial passion and how can they build a business, including felons like me who could start an LLC and really have a personal touch to landscaping, to contracting, to plumbing, and actually go into the marketplace and generate the kind of leads and customers they needed. So your story, if you go to our website, you'll see in our about page, I have my testimony is there. My 700 Club did an expose on me. It's very personal. Why? Because that's what made Apple powerful. That's what makes Tesla powerful. It's the personalness of Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. And even though they're big, they have a personal presentation of their key evangelists. So it's really important to understand in lead gen the psychology of people, which is ultimately the fish that you're trying to get to. And when these people come to your website, when they go to your YouTube, they have judgments about you based on the fact that you don't have anything there. So you're not passionate. You're not kicking and screaming and prophesying about the problems that you're trying to solve. So they make judgments on the lack of content and data and pictures and quotes, and the fact that there's no personalness there. Remember, they're already hungry. I want to go back to point 2, which is a first principle. You're not manipulating people to find you. They're looking. The question is, when they find you, do they see a personal, passionate, authentic, reliable person? Even if you have bad reviews, do you respond to those reviews? And do you give a reasonable explanation? Do you try to solve the problem? These consumers are sophisticated enough where they're looking at all these things. Fourthly, if you want to start generating leads, you got to think about the short game, okay? Which is, if you like, I can start a company today and start generating leads in 2 weeks, okay? And that's the short game. Like, how do we get your phone ringing, people filling out forms immediately? The short game is you need to have an ad-focused website, whether it's a WordPress or even getting a Wix or Weebly, which I don't recommend because those are closed systems. You can't scale them with open source plugins and do different things with, but that's another discussion. But a short game is you need an ad-focused website, which is it's professional and it's personal. It's really important for you to have those 2 P's, professional and personal. And then you need to be in as many business listings as possible. and Google Business, Yahoo Business, Bing Business, all of them. And you need to have a social media presence. But I said ad focus because if you want to start generating leads, the best way to do that is to start running ads. Social media is mainly for warm leads. You're interrupting people who are not on Instagram looking for you, but you're hitting them with a great product, price, and an offering. And then search engine like Google and Yahoo is for people that are hot, that are searching. When they type in florist, dentist, therapist, they need to find you. And you can target this based on zip codes and other certain keywords. The short game will get you leads immediately. You're going to be spending money to get those, but you have to do the ROI. Is spending $100 to get a quality lead worth it when you're going to make $1,000 on them over the year, or a one-time payment, or whatever? Advertising can be ROI driven. You can know exactly how much you're spending and to make. The long game is you need to have great associations like this chamber, other chambers, endorsements from key influencers in your demographic you're trying to reach. You need to start putting up content that's personal, well as a professional. Podcasting is great. It's cheap now. SEO is what we call search engine optimization. You need to have content on your site that helps you show up. Okay. If you're in Coral Gables, it needs to be Coral Gables Plumbing, the best Coral Gables plumbing company. And then you write content on that. And then of course, partnerships and affiliates. That's the long game. That's where you have relational partners, other companies. There's no conflict of interest. They can refer people to you. But this is really, again, my experience to the short game and the long game of generating leads. But the short game advice I'm giving there will help you immediately to start generating. If you don't pay, you're not going to play. That's it. If you guys have any questions, I'm eager to hear you out and answer any questions you have. Thank you.
That was excellent, Jack. Thank you very much for breaking that down and really giving some hands-on, immediate things they can do right now in terms of securing leads and also thinking about that long game. A lot of people don't realize how important the business owner and the person that's involved in it and their story is in creating that connection with a customer. So thank you very much for breaking that down for us. So for those that are in the chat, make sure if you have questions, we have a Q&A box. Put your questions into the Q&A box. If you've already put it into the chat, go ahead, search, copy and paste, put it into the Q&A. And then after our second presenter, we'll be taking questions. So this is your time to get expert advice on the questions that you have right now. So take full advantage of this presentation and Jack. And with that, I'm going to bring up Patrick to really break down how to use AI to implement what Jack has discussed. So we are looking forward to that. And then we'll have a round where everyone can close out with their last comment. So thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you.
I see we have quite a few questions in the Q&A box. I want to bring back Jack, and we will get to Starry C. Got an email campaign that he's doing right now.
Right.
And there you go. That's the power of ChatGPT and this marketing. So we're going to bring back Jack, and we are going to do a quick Q&A. So let's see. Oh, we got quite a few questions over here. All right. So first, Gasoline says, how do I start my podcast for my business, and what are the best apps to start equipment to use? I guess that's for you, Jack.
Sure. I'm going to put a link here. The best app that I know that can get you, let me type answer here, is StreamYard. Okay. And basically, if you go to the website, you'll see the StreamYard's amazing. It's for virtual podcasting. That way you can get guests and don't have that are all across the nation, the world, to join you, because A good podcast is going to be about you having conversations with real people that have expertise, that have amazing stories of pain and triumph. And StreamYard, it's not that expensive. And what's amazing about it, it can go live on all of your platforms all at once: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and the guests can make it go live also. And it will record everything. And you can also do all what we call the you can get all your B-rolls set up and your get your production feel with all the names and everything set up so that it looks like a professional podcast.
Excellent, excellent. All right, next, we have a question, I think for you, Patrick. What about plagiarism using ChatGPT? Do you suggest using word for word, or is it essential to make edits?
Yeah, so I always recommend making some edits, but what ChatGPT is using is not plagiarizing. So you might say that looking at AI is a direct reflection of us as a society. So it's taking information. Everything in ChatGPT is pre-2023. So I think it's 2021. 2021 and before. So a whole bunch of information that's in it, it's aggregating that information and creating its own. However, as the expert, you still want to go in there and not necessarily use it full data. You want to make some tweaks to it, but you can use at least 80% of it. So I wouldn't worry too much about plagiarism with ChatGPT. It's just that the content, you want to still own the content, make it your own.
Excellent. All right. So another question we have, and this is from Catalina regarding the short game. Could you please explain more about what you mean by ad-focused website?
Sure. So an ad-focused website would be a website that also is like the whole like the way it's designed. It has great copies. It's simple. It's always thinking about the sale, right? The consumer, the prospect. So it's so some of the rules of persuasion are there. Reviews on one row. Right below that, maybe a video that explains your product. The next row would be actual case studies. Another one maybe would be prices. Another row would be links to other videos that people can get some of their FAQs, frequently asked questions, answered, so that they can make a decision at that moment without having to call a sales rep or call you. And they can set whatever your conversion is, setting up an appointment with you, buying something right there, requesting a quote. You want to be able to persuade them right there. And it's a website that also has landing pages that are focused purely on the product that you are advertising. And so they're not landing on a page that also has other services that you provide. Because when someone's looking for a taco truck, the best taco truck in Miami, they don't want to land on a page that also has stuff about sushi. Like you talk about kill the prospect, let them come to a website that has products and services that are not relevant. We got to get out of the one-stop shop, the liquor store that sells T-shirts, beer, and lottery tickets and shoes. Like that's not going to work for the average purchasing power consumer who has a million things on their brain. And whatever they're looking for, that's exactly what they want to find on that website. So that would be an ad-driven website versus just something where there's no thought given behind it.
And a follow-up question to that from Chantrell Smith is, should the ad-focused website be separate from your existing website?
No, I would first of all, there is a strategy where we what I advise my clients is, if they're a company that's broad, and let's say like they're a retail company, but they sell shoes, hats, and everything, but the shoe market is very aggressive in South Florida. Hey, let's get 5 other domains focused on the different shoes you sell, right? Nikes, Pumas, Yeezys, whatever. And basically, let's build domains, MiamiNike.com, Coral Springs, shoes.com. So you're never limited when it comes to the internet, right? Because domains and specifics matter, but your main site can become a tree with many branches. And a good web developer that's also advertising, they understand advertising, is going to be able to take your current website and make it many different things. And you could actually have different domains on just one site. There's a way to do that, where one site can have Miamishoes.com, BrowardShoes.com, and they all go to different parts, but you're only logging into one space.
Excellent, excellent. And Patrick, in talking about building copy for websites and things of that nature, I know AI can be used for that. But one of the challenges people have is making sure that the AI sounds like them. So one of our questions that was asked was, how do we train AI to sound more like us?
Yeah, so I'm not. So yeah, so two things, right? So I'm not sure if I think that question came from Kathleen, and I'm not sure if she was speaking about that specific scenario or to have an AI actually talk like you. And there's actually a resource like that. I shared the link. I put in the main chat, right? A resource where you can. So also, Jack, someone she asked to say I answered in the wrong place. When you share your, they wanted to share your what we're looking for. Wanted to share your contact information, right? But I'm going to answer both questions, Matthew. So there's actually an AI that you can train to have your voice and interact with people. And that resource right there is called alpha.tweeze.ai. Right? That's actually literally something like you. It's kind of scary, but and you can give it your profile, you give it information about you, and it can interact like it's you. And to get your voice, your marketing voice, as I said, you kind of like what we were doing earlier, right? You're telling it you want to be special. Your business, you don't say about business, but you tend to say what your business is about, your why. So the more information you give it, then it's like so you're saying, for example, if I'm trying to do it with Balambico, I say generate whatever for Balambico. Balambico is this kind of company. So then when I start telling it, okay, to generate content based on our ethics, our digital marketing networks philosophy, it'll pull some information relevant to that, and then I agree to it and agree to post on our site. That's training it to have your business voice. You give it your mission statement. You say, okay, Balambico mission statement is this, right? Write a blog article for Balambico. Balambico, based on our mission statement and our values, right? Create content based on that. So the more specific you are, you can train it to give you content in your voice, in your business stuff. But additional to actually your own voice, that link I shared, it's very, very interesting. And she said, I wanted to talk like me for posting captions, emails, SMS, text messages. So you were right. So it's more the latter to what I was talking about. So you need to train and saying, this is my value. I am I think you're in the year business or whatever business you're in. So this, for a business like mine, this is our mission statement. This is our value. Write a blog based on this, right? So the more you can train it, the more you tell it, the more specific you are, the more it'll give you what you're looking for. Hope that answers your questions.
Yeah, and then one great function of the premium version of ChatGPT is that you can put your information about you and your business, and every new chat will provide you with information based upon what you say. You want it to be wise, you want it to be this, you want it to be that. You can actually train it. So yeah, it's a great, great tool. All right. So as we wrap up, any last words? We'll start off with you, Jack. Make sure you definitely let people know there's a lot of people in the chat asking for your contact information, your business. So if you can say that and also drop it into the chat again, that would be great. And after Jack, Patrick, you can take the floor.
Sure. Let me put my website there, and I'll put my personal calendar so that you can book with me here too. Okay, and this is my calendar. Yes, I mean, people are asking some great questions, very thoughtful business leaders here. Thank you, Patrick, for your presentation. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity. All I would say is, I don't know what season you are in your business right now. whether you're on a down or you're in a high or mid. I just want to encourage everyone, don't give up on your dreams, and what you're doing. To make money doing what we love is ultimately what the founders meant when they said the pursuit of happiness. When you look up the Webster's dictionary in the 1600s, or whatever the dictionaries were at that point, or 1700s, I do know that the way they define happiness, and not to give endorsement to everything that those people did, it was the ability for someone to pursue a vocation, a career that they that they wanted to, and that was like the ultimate idea of happiness, is to work, make money doing the things that you love. Because again, most of society was a caste system, right? You did whatever your dad did and whatever you were placed into by society to do. So growing our businesses is hard work. It's tough work. All of you guys have grit, and you guys should all be honored because you're here, because you really want to grow. All I would say is don't give up. Tweak, modify, watch as many podcasts as you can on YouTube from billionaires, millionaires, people like different cultural perspectives, Black, white, Asian, Jewish, Caribbean, African. Learn as much as possible, but most of all, understand the internet, understand how important the digital space is, AI use, as Patrick presented, and at some point, as you start getting capital, get people on your team. Don't try to be the master of everything, and you can't be. Get people on your team, whether you hire them or you subcontract them or whatever, you outsource, that are on the journey with you for the long run. Treat them well and grow your business. Hopefully you're building a legacy business. But all I would say is don't give up, just get smarter. If the axe is dull, more work is needed, Solomon said in Ecclesiastes. But if the axe is sharpened, less work. Sharpen the axe, and use the pain times and the down times as moments where you could just really learn and recalibrate and refine, but just don't give up on your dreams. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Excellent.